Today in the Retro Tech repair shop we have a Yamaha PortaSound PSS-30 keyboard from the 1980s. We're going to have a go at fixing it, and then with zero musical talent we're going to see if we can make some good sounds. Okay, our next item we're looking at is a Yamaha PortaSound PSS-30 electronic keyboard. The seller said that for parts or repair, 2 keys not working. Condition is for parts or not working. Right, so we've had a quick look on the internet, find out about this. It was around early 1980s. About 1982, 1983 these were produced. We're going to unbox it now and have a look and see what we've got in here. I haven't looked at this yet. So it's got a set of instructions. Box in. Okay. Nice set of instructions, that's pretty good. The actual unit itself looks very nice condition actually. Let's have a little look at this. That's battery cover released. The original foam insert has degraded completely and all the bits have fallen off there. We've got a bit of contamination inside. So let's put in 4 batteries. It requires 6 volts in total and it's telling me it's double A's. So put those in first. Oh, it's making some kind of noise. Oh,
sounds like a car one.
Yeah, that didn't sound so good, did it? Okay, let's switch it on. Right, it's making a noise. It's volume. When my young assistant looked on the internet, it told us that when you first switch these on, it goes to maximum volume.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds like it actually. Let's turn it down a little bit and let's go through the keys. Let's see where the problem is. That one's not working as well.
Play this.
Latino music. March. Oh, we can change the tempo as well. Faster. So that's working. So what's orchestral? Oh, what's it? Clarinet.
I think the camera might.
Violin. Oboe. Xylophone. Banjo. It's also got a record. Let's do demonstration. Please stop. We've got 3 keys not working. So we're going to have to mark these so we know which ones they are. So we'll just mark up the keys that aren't working. It's bound to forget. That one. That one. That one. Okay, so that's the three keys that aren't working. I will now bring in my young child labour supply.
Funny, lol.
Yep, I can get you over and you can take it apart.
Yeah, I like taking things apart.
Something's connected. It's connected to something. Okay, if I just clamshell that open and then unstick that and then
Might be why it's directly in the board. It's not a
connector.
doesn't look like it's a connector. Looks like it's soldered directly in.
Yeah.
Okay, so when we shall look then, first look, is there something happened here? Does that correspond
to that corresponds to where the broken things are.
Right, so there you go, that's the first clue. And that corresponds to the position of
the battery, so...
And what have we got in that corner there?
Corrosion!
Hey, so...
It's probably the battery exploded and broke it or something.
Right, so the battery is leaked. Yeah?
Yeah.
It's been stored this way around.
Yeah.
The battery's leaked. It's leaked down to this board. And then that contamination that has got under the board, I'd imagine. And it's causing a bad connection on the contact. So let's...
Does that mean
as you can
you need a
see,
magic paintbrush?
Not yet, no. We need to... So what we need to do is undo all the screws with the big arrows on it.
Yeah.
And then we can pop this board out and to access the area we need to. I don't know if the keys are spring loaded here, whether we're going to have a
fun
problem with that, but hopefully we can just flip the board up that way.
Okay, keys are not as spring loaded as I thought they'd be. Might need to get some kind of like little thingy to undo that.
So if we can, this board will probably just pop over anyway. Hang on, that way. Oh, there we go. So if you move that up, the problem was up in this area, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was here. I see it. I see it. Look, once we flip the board over, alright, we found that there is this here going on. It's got like, it looks like the terminals of like when a battery's leaked. It looks like battery terminals. It does. Looks like it's been all gone, and it's in the exact pattern that the broken keys are in. So that must be the problem.
Well, all these keys were working, weren't they?
Yeah.
So this track, see, it's a common connection all the way down here.
Yeah.
That must be intact, otherwise these keys won't work as well.
Yeah.
So it must be this contamination on this part. These press down and conduct here. So I'd imagine it's probably just the muck and the contamination in this area. Because when you press the button down, you'll short it in this area, and that makes the connection to tell the chip what to do. So let's use some of the electrical contact cleaner.
Yay!
And clean off all this area.
I'm getting a little. When I'm rubbing it, green is coming off of it, so I'm not sure if that's good or not.
So let's make sure it's nothing. It's a solvent, so it shouldn't attack the board, but it should just clean it. Looks pretty good actually. It's starting to clean up. So if you brush it on there with all of that,
just brush the whole thing.
Just brush this area down here because that's where it's had the contamination, and then use the cotton wool bud to work them all. Put a bit of pressure on and work them clean.
A lot of dirt is coming off, so that helps. So let's put the boy together again, I guess.
Yep, flip him over, try him, put it back together again, and then
gonna clean the back of this off a bit as well. Just get the battery terminals a bit of a clean. Wouldn't hurt.
It's always good to do those sort of maintenance jobs whilst you've got it apart.
Brush out all this battery stuff.
Yeah, definitely get rid of that. It's not good for you.
Oh, these are really good screws. You can just put it in and just immediately do it. There's no messing around with it. It just goes in. You know, you could probably put a headphone connector on here, because there's definitely plenty of space.
There is, yes.
Yeah, modify a audio output onto it easily. You just attach it onto these wires here somehow.
Yeah, there's not a lot in there really. What have we got?
Yeah.
Component wise, you've only got
chips, a few capacitors, a few little jumper buoys, some resistors, a thingy and another thingy.
Right, so we've got,
and a diode.
That's a diode, resistors, that's a transistor, base, collector, emitter, and then we have a couple more resistors, resistor there, diode there. That'll be another kind of transistor. It'll be more of a power stage transistor, I would imagine, to actually boost it out. Electrolytic capacitors, which look in good condition. There's a little potentiometer there for adjusting probably some kind of threshold. And then we've got the sound chip itself. It's actually a Yamaha sound chip, so they've had this developed for them. And that's it. So I suggest before you put the case in, you put some batteries in it, flip it over and try those keys. So the initial test, when we tried it, got a bit of a connection, but not a proper connection there.
Maybe it's a problem with the actual keys, like the thing on the back of the keys.
The conduction on the back of the keys, yeah. So we'll clean off the
actual keys.
Conduction, yeah. The face on the. We've done the board, but we haven't done the bit on the back of the keys. So is it working? So it's still intermittent. So let's do the back. So let's do the back of it and see what effect that has. Clean up these, the corresponding ones.
Why is that green?
It's because its contamination's come from somewhere. So find out which ones are which. Yeah, on here. Done the clean up on the board and the conductive pad that presses on the button. Now this one works, but these two still don't work, so we need to have a further investigation to see if we've got any track damage. We've got a switch connector that goes on here. Unfortunately, when the board's out, it does mean that these two aren't connected together, so to test it and bridge it, I'm using this. Hold that on there, short those contacts out, and I should be able to press this into each position to check that the pad is working. As you can see on that one, there's nothing at all. Nothing. Nothing. That one's working. That one's not. That one is. So these two aren't functioning even with a good contact on that. I'm having real trouble trying to keep these shorted out whilst testing, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to solder a link on to short out that contact between that point there and that point there on the board. I'm just going to tin the cable and I'm going to solder it on here. I'm going to link that across to the other side of the pad, so it goes around here to this side of the pad, and then from there it goes off to here. So I'm just going to just tack that on there for a minute. And now, when we put the batteries back in, it should bypass that switch completely. Right, that's easier. When I've tried to short between the contacts here locally, one of them did work and one of them didn't. Let's see if I can demonstrate that. Let's go on one that we know is working. Okay, one next to it, one next to that, nothing, and one there. So this one that wasn't working, if you go on these little pads here, does work. If you short there, I've got a little scrape now. It's a little bit, it's intermittent. So we've got some damage to the track there. On the next one up, if I go on, this one's 5, go on these pads, nothing at all. So what I've done, I've scraped back the lacquer over the copper track there. If I go on the test point, or the points there, there's nothing. If I go on the track, the track, that's working. So we know that the issue is a connection problem somewhere in here. I'm just going to gently scrape off this surface. I think that the battery acid might have got on the conductive paste on top of the copper track and actually contaminated it, so it wasn't conducting anymore. So let's get rid of that. Press it on one of the ones that wasn't, and the other one that wasn't. That seems much better. So I'm going to reassemble the keyboard and see if it's going to work. Okay, I'm going to remove the shorting link that was temporarily put on. Okay, that's one off. And 2. Turn it over. Ooh. So, we done it. Da-da-da-da-da. Let's dig it back together properly and play a tune. Lovely. Can you play chopsticks?
What?
Can you play anything properly? Chopsticks or something like that? It's like, no. No. That's it. That's my whole musical skills over. That was a successful repair. All done. So, thank you for watching. I hope you found it of some use. See you next time.